Today, we're going to talk about the dirty secret of industrial AI that nobody wants to admit.
You at some places we are even integrating with those kind of legacy system which has been declared end of life by OEM 10 years ago.
Wow.
Factory operators, the plant operators are working on the same machine, same plant for 20 years, 30 years. Now somebody is coming and telling that that AI is coming into the picture and then will solve your problems, right? Anyway, there is fear in the people that AI is going to replace people.
Right.
By the way, just for our viewers, so we are not here to replace any people. But after COVID, you see, our that business got shut down in couple of days, right? Because no building is working for say next 1 year or so.
Right.
And during that time, if the industries were the only thing which was working, which was operating.
You've had multiple almost shutting down experiences. You've had multiple pivots, fighting the good fight. Right? So, what keeps you going?
Come this far, not just to come this far, right? It's a longer journey where we have to go.
Hello, everyone, and once again, a very warm welcome to ChaiNet, where we learn from builders before the machines take over. Today, we're going to talk about the dirty secret of industrial AI that nobody wants to admit. So, we're going to talk to Archit Naraniwal, an IIT Bombay civil engineer who spent 9 years building Faclon Labs, an industrial IoT and AI platform, which is helping factories optimize operations and meet sustainability goals. So he's been working with steel plants, cement factories, power plants, FMCG facilities, trying to introduce AI in a world filled with decades old machinery. Archit, a very warm welcome to ChaiNet.
Thank you, Rachit. Thank you for having me. Great to be here today with you.
Likewise, thank you so much for coming up as a guest. So, can we start with a quick introduction to yourself and Faclon Labs?
Sure. So myself, Archit Naraniwal, I am one of the co-founder of Faclon. Started this company 9 years back with other two co-founders and very good friend Rishi and Utkarsh. So we all were batchmate in IIT Bombay. We have lived together, all 4 years in the same hostel, same floor. And obviously, when we started Faclon, we were a different version. We wanted to optimize the water distribution of India's, right? That was the mission when we started this company. But the current version of Faclon is we are in data and AI platform company. We're providing digital transformation for large physical infrastructure. Now, when I say digital transformation, is a very vague and subjective terms, but we primarily focuses on the manufacturing facilities which are out there, and there also how can we help them increasing the productivity, how can we help them in making their plant more reliable, and how can we enable them in order to helping them achieving their overall sustainability goals. So anything under productivity, reliability and sustainability is where Faclon works.
Amazing. That's a very interesting and a very different domain, right? Like a lot of people are working in the AI in the software space, but yeah, you're actually working in the real world. You're trying to bring impact on in places where people, I think, don't even dream of going, right? So you help factories with AI, right? What's the most difficult part in automating factories and introducing AI to these such conventional decade-old systems? What's the most hard part?
So first of all, there are two different things, right? We are not automating the factories, right?
Hmm.
Factories are already automated to a certain level. That's how
Right.
the plant are running, right? Now,
Correct.
what we are trying to build is that an intelligent layer on top of that, so that, and that's where the AI come into the picture. And how can we enable these factories so they can move forward from automation to autonomous? The automation is already there.
Right.
How can we make this factory smart? That's what, if you see smart factory, industry 4.0, all these terminologies are being used today. How can we enable these factories with the insights and this data driven insight, so the people who are running the show, they can take faster and better decisions. in order to overall optimize their processes, operations, increase, again, like I said, increasing the productivity, making their plant more reliable, and sustainability goals.
Right. So you mentioned Industry 4.0. So can you tell us what is Industry 4.0?
So industry 4.0, I mean, at the end, it's a terminology and jargon which is being used, to be really honest. But ultimately, what it means is that how can we connect the machine, the people, and the process. So that's what we do. That how can we connect all these three things which runs the plant? There are machine, there are people, there are processes. So
Right.
we closely integrate all these three things which are out there, and then build smart, intelligent, data-driven decisions and applications and use case on top of it. Right. So that's what 4.0 is, being that. That's what I say. Coming from going forward, more than an automation, an intelligent layer on the data which is already there, lying there for years, and there has no intelligence being created on top of that data.
Correct, correct. And at the end, a lot of AI comes from data, right? You have to have the right data. And right now, the industry, the AI industry is obsessed with the new AI model and whether to use GPT-4 or Claude or Gemini. But you're in a very different space, right? You're dealing with factories where the critical equipment is older, probably even older than the internet, right?
Correct.
So walk me through, like when what an AI implementation or let's say a data integration looks like. When there's a 30-year-old boiler talking to a 15-year-old control system. What do you like? Where do you come in, and what is the flow?
So great observation, Rachit. So we are talking about factories, right? Like you rightly said, these factories are established decades ago. The equipment which are out there are legacy systems, right? And
Correct.
they when they were deployed, no data, AI, digital transformation was in the picture at all, right? So now it's a very difficult and different place altogether, where you have legacy systems and there are different kind of systems. So it's very difficult in order to bring the data to a single platform. Now,
Right.
the enterprises, when they are talking about all this, like you said, AI, which model to use and everything, which is for a different type of use case and phase. The space where we are operating, the having a data at a single place is the most difficult task,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I'll tell you, at some places we are even integrating with those kind of legacy system, which has been declared end of life by OEM 10 years ago.
Wow.
But then obviously you cannot change that, because then for that you need all the plant shut down and everything. And for factories, the production is the most important thing. As long as this is working, they will not change it. Obviously someday they have to change it, but now as it is running, then they don't need to change it. So that's the very difficult task, that you have to integrate with those legacy systems which are even nobody has any clue about it.
Right.
So that's a very difficult part to do. And then also we are trying to understand, so we are trying to work with the people, and or trying to create value for the people who have worked in a certain manner for decades.
Right.
Factory operators, the plant operators, are working on the same machine, same plant for 20 years, 30 years. Now somebody is coming and telling that that AI is coming into the picture and then will solve your problems, right? Anyway, there is fear in the people that AI is going to replace people.
Right.
By the way, just for our viewers, so we are not here to replace any people. We are just there to empower those people so that they can make their life easier. But
Correct.
for those people to believe on that, it takes time. You need to show some results. You need to take some smaller steps so that they start believing and then start trusting the AI results which are coming. And then once it is there, then obviously, they will do wonders.
Right. And I think there are two things. Like I think one is people are wary of AI implementations because they're scared of their jobs and all of those things. But they're also they're also apprehensive because they think that it's mostly just marketing and faff, and
Mhm.
there's no real value which AI can add. I think that's also have you faced that as well, like the other side of the coin?
100%. 100%. So again, the problem is that the business user, who are the actual user for this solution, and that is one of the biggest problem. In fact, we also face the biggest problem is not how will we take the data. The biggest problem is that how the model will work, which model to use there. But I believe and strongly believe that the biggest problem is that how do you onboard those business user on whatever technology and whatever solution you have deployed, because ultimately they have to use it in day to day. Until unless they use it, no matter what you put there, it's not going to be any valuable for any enterprise there,
Right.
right? But
Absolutely.
you can't blame them, right? I mean, they worked in a certain manner for years, right?
Right.
And the environment is very different there. If you go there, nobody is free. Factory people are always on their toes because something or other is going wrong in the plant.
Right.
So it's difficult, but yeah, I mean, now with all this, the way we are moving forward, everything, obviously the AI buzz, chat GPT or whatever you say, other things which are out there coming to the picture, people have started realizing that AI helps in certain manner. So there is some initial level of I would say acceptance.
Right.
Obviously the skeptical mind is there whether it is going to replace or what. But once you build that relation with them, once you help them understand how it is going to help them, and you actually solve a couple of problems for them, they start believing your system, they start believing in you, and then start adopting it.
Correct, correct, right.
Correct.
And so while we were discussing, earlier, you told us about some of your very hard times, and one of them was right around COVID, when you said that you were in a very bad position, and pre-COVID, no one was really interested in something like this, but
Yeah.
COVID happened, and then you suddenly saw a surge. What do you think? What do you think changed?
So, I mean, especially in our case, Rachit, pre-COVID, we were working in a very different space altogether. Our primary customers were the commercial buildings, right?
Mhm.
And the industry is something we just recently started. I mean, I would say maybe 6 months ago, prior to the COVID, we started thinking that we should work in the industry. Prior that, we uh, consciously took the decision that we will not work in an industrial environment.
Got it.
But after COVID, you see our that business got shut down in couple of days, right? Because no building is working for say next 1 year or so.
Right.
So we got a lot of chance to think that okay, something which we have built as a product, as a technology, as a capability, where it can be used. And during that time, if you see, the industries were the only thing which was working, which was operating, and those people were also facing a problem because they were not having any access on what is going on in the plant.
Right.
And the plant which is running on a very bare minimum human resources, which used to work, let's say, work on 1,000 people working there. Now there are only hardly 50 people who are working in the plant, or say 100 people.
Right.
How would you manage that? So they wanted to have that all that their data on a single tip, right, which was not there earlier. When we used to go to the plant, they were like, okay, I can always get the data, I'll just call this person and he'll get me the data.
Right.
COVID helped those people understand that they have to prepare for something which is, was never seen. And from that point, I believe, and especially in the Indian context, that
Correct.
the inclination toward having this digital solutions and technology is something which has started. And if you'll see, a lot of enterprises after COVID only started having a full-fledged digital team, having a full-fledged CDO in as a CXO, is as one of the CXO. Earlier there was only CIO or IT head, but
Right.
the digital officer, you will see nowadays a lot of enterprises have started having a separate team altogether who is going to lead this kind of initiative.
Right.
So the COVID changed the narrative. The acceptance got changed. I would say in 12 months time.
Wow. People started, understanding the importance of
Yeah,
data and how data can actually impact probably revenue and their KPIs, right?
but they experienced the problem at first hand, right? Before that, they were never experiencing that kind of problem because
Right.
the data was always. I mean, even though it will take some time, but then they always believe that the data is available to them.
Right.
But when the COVID came, they actually realized the data is not available
Not
to them.
available.
Yeah.
Right. Amazing. So, what has been the hardest part of your 9-year journey in building this and getting here?
So obviously in last 9 years we have pivoted couple of times, but I would say the current version of Faclon is something what is like a 5 years old. Post COVID is a new version of what as a company we've been doing, and building this particular you know product or solution or building business around a particular space where we are right now. There are two challenges which we have faced. The first is obviously the acceptance in the market, and like I said, these people are working for decades in a certain fashion, so it's very difficult to change the mindset of the people.
Right.
It's very difficult. Even if we deploy the solution, we get very hard time in enabling those value for the customer, because the adoption takes time and challenge. There are a lot of challenges that how do you make sure that the people are using what we have provided, right? So that is the biggest challenge. But I believe, as like I said, we always try and find some or other thing in our deliverables for every user who is out there, so that we can enable that stickiness to the platform, that they come to the system for something which is solving a real problem for them.
Correct.
But that's still a challenge, the speed is basically a challenge, the how we are going to bring the adoption.
Right.
That is like the biggest problem. And the second is that which is a challenge, but that is what become our USP, is that, like I said, these factories are and equipments are decades old.
Right.
And if you go into different factory, different plant, there are different legacy system, different OEMs which are out there. So how do you build a system around it which is scalable and a modular in a fashion that you can quickly integrate those data points and bring everything to a single platform? We are talking about factories which are generating billions of data on a daily basis. And in a factory, if you go, there are 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 different kind of systems which are out there, the data sources.
Right.
Bringing everything to a single platform, at the same
Mm.
time ensuring their IT policies and everything is being taken care of, it's a challenge itself, right?
Correct. Yeah. That's the hard part, right?
That's the most hard part.
Right. Fair. And you've been actually doing this for 9 years. And backstage, when we were talking, you said that the industry is still very nascent, especially in India, versus when you talk to your
Yeah.
US customers. Is that a polite way of saying that people don't get it in India? Like when you're talking to these factories, like what is the blocker? Is it trust? Is it budget? Is it that they don't want like they think that they're more experienced than a computer and they don't want a computer telling them like what is the blocker when you're selling to factories?
So I guess obviously the stage it's a journey for everyone. Even in fact, when the West started it, probably 10 years before us,
Right.
now they are in a stage where everybody understand that. So that's it's the blocker is obviously the unlocking the mindset of the people who are there. And like you rightly said first, that people believe that this is some fancy thing which is coming, right? And
Hmm.
right now we don't need fancy thing, correct? And it's just a fancy thing. But at the end they also understand and know, it's not like that they don't want to optimize their factory, right? Everybody would like to do that, everybody would like to solve the problems for them. But it's the trust which needs to be built, and I guess it's a journey which everybody is going through, every enterprise and every solution provider like us going through that. The industry gets mature over a period of time, right? And there will be a lot of success in the industry, and then that's how, if you see the post COVID, people are investing a good amount of money. Earlier, prior to that, when we used to go, I mean, 90% of time we were like, okay, there was not a second meeting after the first one.
Right.
Now the numbers is reverse.
Right.
So that change is coming. I think it's just a matter of maybe few years, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, will be at the same level where the West is right now.
Amazing, amazing. But last question for you. So it's been 9 years. You've had multiple almost shutting down experiences. You've had multiple pivots. You've been fighting. Before, you're fighting the good fight, right? So what keeps you going?
Okay. So honestly, I mean, it's the belief what we have, everyone at Faclon, especially we as the founders and the senior management or the core team of Faclon is that what we have built or what we have delivered is just maybe a surface, or we have just scratched the surface which is out there. That's what our belief is, that, and there is a lot of value which we can brought through on the kind of technologies and solution we are working on, right? Secondly, and obviously in last 9 years there has been a lot of tough times during COVID, in fact pre-COVID also, nowadays also it comes. It's not like that, it's a journey, right? Every entrepreneur out there, or everybody who is starting the business or is doing a business has to go through these cycles,
Of course.
multiple times in the entire over a period of time.
Right.
But what is enabling us to keep moving every day is that we always believe that we have come this far, we have spent 9 years, built something, there are customers who are using it, and so we have not just come this far to stop here, right?
Right.
That is something is I believe everyone in Faclon, in the senior leadership, and then we as founders, uh, allowing us to work in fact on those days when things are not going in our favor, right?
Right.
And that happens most of the time, right? In
Right.
very few days you find something good happening, but as it's a journey, right? And it can change your mood, and your can change like in couple of hours, right, in a
Right.
day. And so a roller coaster things which are happening, but yeah, I mean, believe on our product and our solution, and believing and that we have spent, and everybody has give their time, and everybody has given more than time their heart to it, right?
Right.
And we've come this far not just to come this far, right? There is a longer journey where we have to go. So I believe that is what is keeping us going, through the whenever the rough patch come.
Amazing, amazing. I love the quotation. We've come this far not to just come this far. That's I'm going to use it. Sabke saath yaad. Love that. So, to all our guests, guys, thank you so much for your time. That was Archit Naraniwal, co-founder of Faclon Labs. He taught us that the hardest part of industrial AI is everything that comes actually before the AI, and you can find him doing the boring work of making factories smarter, one data point at a time. And this is ChaiNet, where we talk to builders before the machines take over. Stay curious. Thank you so much, Archit.